So yeah, who's everyone's favourite group? Like, what's the easy group and what's the tough group? Like I say, Group A, I think Ajax and Liverpool are probably favourites to go through there. But Rangers showed they're no European pushovers, right? Last year, they obviously qualified this year, like went through the long qualifying process, so showed it this year. Porto, Atleti, Leverkusen, Bruges, Neverkusen. Are Porto any good at the minute? I've no idea. Bayern Munich, Barca, Inter. Poor Victoria Plzen. Who drops into the Europa out of that group? I think Barca and Bayern go through, right? But I'd love it if Barca drops into the Europa. The Polish Bob Derby. The Lewandowski Derby. I nearly called him the Podolski then. Again. Yeah. And you just have the financial director just burning receipts. No, we didn't buy anything. We weren't banking on this money at all. Frankfurt, Spurs, Lisbon, Marseille. That is... I mean, if Spurs don't finish top of that group, big questions being asked, right? Milan, Chelsea, Salzburg. Do we reckon Tuchel's still there at the end of the group stage? Celtic, Rutrow. Although I've no idea what state the Shakhtar squad's in at the minute, to be honest. Because like a load of basically any is it any foreign player or was it just non-EU player? Like we're basically told that they could leave on a unrestricted loan or something for this season. You know, how many players have like gone out on an unrestricted loan? Holy. Yeah, a lot. So Neres has left, Dodo's left, Max Antonio's left. But look at like all these loans. I wonder whether these were contracts that were expiring anyway. So yes, like Solomon, I know they were pissed off because they were negotiating a fee for Solomon, weren't they? And I think his contracts, when he goes back, when his loan deal finishes, I think he's only got 6 months left on his contract. So they're essentially just going to lose him on a free, right? Or at least for a drastically reduced rate. Pedrinho, Marlon, all the Brazilians. Is it the same thing with Pedrinho? I'd assume so, right? As in them being pissed, not losing him on a free. What were we up to? Oh yeah, Celtic, lol. City, Sevilla, Dortmund, Copenhagen. That could be a tough group, you know. Because Dortmund really struggled in Europe last year, didn't they? Happy for Spurs and Celtic. Do you reckon Celtic can finish third in that group? I don't know, with everything that's going on. Are the away games even going to be played in Ukraine? With the home games in Poland, okay. So yeah, who we thinking goes through there? You'd expect Ajax and Liverpool, right? I think the big one's going to be who finishes third in these groups. So you'd think Ajax and Liverpool are going to go through that, right? You'd assume Atleti and Porto, question mark? Would you assume Porto? You'd assume Porto, right? Then Bayern. It's got to be Bayern. I'd love nothing more than Barca to get knocked down again. But I'm going to go with those two to go through. This is an interesting one. You'd assume Spurs would be going through. Now, Frankfurt were very average, weren't they? In the Bundesliga last year? And haven't Sporting Lisbon got like the next great young manager? Porto look really poor whenever I see him. Strikers a diving clown. Lisbon will go through with Ronaldo as top scorer. Oh, imagine that. Imagine that. Marseille, maybe. I'll be honest, I've never really watched any Portuguese league football. Last time I remember watching Porto was 2004, whatever it was. whenever they won it. Should we go with Lisbon? I'd assume these two are going through. Real Madrid, defending champions, of course. Leipzig, sorry, Celtic. City. I think City and Sevilla. Dortmund are so... They really are the German Spurs, aren't they? Dortmund. Aren't all but one of the teams in Germany the German Spurs. Actually, Leverkusen are... They're called Neverkusen for a reason, right? No need to say, sorry, Celtic, it's like a miracle for us to even get third. Yeah, I guess. It'd be great if you could, though, get third. I guess it depends how affected by everything that's going on that Shakhtar are, isn't it? Sevilla have lost at least half of their defence, though, right? Not sure about them. Good point, actually, yeah. Putting Nainzu, Marcao. Isco on a free. Oh, and Tellers at left back, yeah. But yeah, Koundé, Carlos. They lost Luke de Jong. Yeah, that's their centre-back partnership, right? I guess it's just their new centre-back partnership. But you'd assume PSG are going through, right? PSG, Juve. It's not going to be Maccabi Haifa, is it? And who's going to drop down into the Europa? This is the big one for me. Honestly, I wouldn't bet against Rangers. Broncos just seems to have them all fired up for Europe, doesn't he? Hopefully one of more of the Scottish teams, I suppose, yeah. I mean, if you're Scottish. Rangers into the Europa. You'd assume Leverkusen, right? Same with... Like, I think it could be either or of these two. Imagine if Bayern... Imagine if Bayern were the ones to drop into there. That'd be hilarious. I may have saying it'd be hilarious as a Man United fan who were in the Europa. Group D is the one I've got no idea about. I'm just fairly certain that Spurs are going to go through to the knockout stages, and then it could literally be any of the others, right? Glasgow's a hard place to come. Atmosphere's like a 12th man for both teams, however, I think something extraordinary to finish third. I think the big thing, for Celtic at least, is it'll be how much everything has affected Shakhtar. Like, obviously, there's the war in, like, the war in Ukraine. There's... Which is going to be affecting everyone, right? Like, it can't not. If you're living and working and playing in that nation, like, that's going to be affecting you. Also, like, your home games, in quotation marks, aren't being played at home. So essentially all of your games are away games. But I'd assume Salzburg will be going through. And then, like, I'm going to... Imagine if both Scottish teams went through the knockout rounds. That'd be sick. But I get your point on Sevilla, though. They've just lost a load of players. And then you just seen Benfica, right? Or Isak deal to Newcastle. At least it takes that record transfer fee off Joel Linton, right? Although, since he's moved into midfield, he's actually been really good. That stigma's been taken away a little bit. Apparently he only scored 3 goals from open play last year, one more than Joel Linton. Potential's getting real expensive. Oh, man. It's not. Like, the Anthony Gordon thing's insane. The thing with Isak, right, is, like, he's an international, like, he's a regular international player. And he is a very talented player. But again, yeah, it is like, you're buying potential with him. Like, I tweeted out, like, today. Where's my tweet? A lot of people report on the Isak to Newcastle move. Basically, I think I saw a YouTube video. It was on TalkSport, and I think there was a clip from a TV. I think it might have been Sky Sports News or something, like, on Twitter. They were saying, oh yeah, like, big, strong striker, like, you know, aerial presence, all that kind of stuff. It's like, have you guys ever actually watched him? He plays more like a false 9, number 10 winger kind of player, like, drops deep and runs with it. He doesn't score a lot. He's definitely not dominant in the air. Let's pull up his FB. Like, I don't know, like, it's like stats are never the be all and end all, but, like, I've watched him play, like, internationally and a bit for Sociedad. And he's a really good, right? He's very quick, very, like, really good ball control, tricky, great ball carrier. But, like, his finishing's not good. Like, he underperforms on his XG. He doesn't have a lot of assists. But, like, where he does, there's a lot of shots. So, like, but it looks like he takes free kicks as well. But where he really exceeds, like, his passing isn't great. But, this is where he's really good. Carrying the ball, shot creating actions from carrying the ball. Like, and his dribbles completed and attempted, like, are really good. Like, it wouldn't surprise me if he was played more wider. So he's played a bit out wide and, like, used as another ball carrier. An Almiron replacement, maybe. But the thing is, right, he is obviously, he's very quick, he's good at carrying the ball, good in transition. What if they don't cross much? Well, his percentage of aerials one's really low as well. So, like, it's in the... I mean, it's just about in the top half percentile of European football. No, because the big thing that Newcastle lose when Wilson's out, right, is that transitional pace. Because the thing that, like, Wilson's great. Like, I really like Wilson. He's a great finisher, but he's really quick. So he can keep up with those really quick transitions from defence to attack and counter-attacks and stuff. And when they play Chris Wood, they lose that, because Chris Wood has a completely different attribute set. He is great in the air, but he's more, you know, he's more like a traditional target man, right? Good at holding it up, good at kind of running channels, but he's not quick. He's not going to keep up with a lightning fast counter-attack. That's what you'll get from Isak. So he could maybe play out in the wing. He could maybe play in as a 10. But even when you've got a rest, rotate, or the inevitable Callum Wilson injury, he's at least going to be able to keep up with those counter-attacks, right? Sociedad was 17th for attempted crosses last season. That'll play into it then. But his percentage of aerials won. When he was going in, he wasn't winning them. But even so, where's the evidence that he is an aerially dominant striker like people have been reporting? If they're not putting crosses in, how is he aerially dominant? He did have a decent scoring record for 2021 for Sociedad. A very good one before joining Sociedad. I'm not saying he's not going to be a good goal scorer. I'm just saying, like, there's been a lot of misinformation about his skill set. Because when I've watched him play, he's a really quick, very good ball carrier. But the numbers definitely wouldn't back up him being a clinical finisher, or B, an aerial presence. I like it though. I like it though as a deal. I think he's a really, really fun player. And just another really good option, like, for Newcastle going forward, because they're deathly thin. They've got two good forwards, right? Basically. As much as everyone loves Miggy Almiron's endeavour, he's not the quality of player that they want to be having at the top of their pitch, do they? 60 mil for Anthony Gordon's ridiculous. It is. And it's just kind of like rolls into that, like, potential's getting very expensive right now. The thing that, like, confuses me the most about Anthony Gordon is, or at least Anthony Gordon to Chelsea, is they already have a ton of players in that position, right? They've already got a load of players who play as a number 10 or out wide. I don't understand the signing. Like, they've already got more players in those positions than they currently play in those positions. Is Anthony Gordon an upgrade on... Let's pull up the Chelsea squad. Let's find the players that he is an actual upgrade on. I'm like, don't give it... Like, this isn't me bagging on Anthony Gordon. He's obviously a talented player. He's very young. Falls around too much for me, but loads of players do that. Like, he's a talented attacking player, right? A young, talented attacking player, right? This is the current Chelsea squad of players that play in attacking positions. Is he an upgrade on... I mean, he's an upgrade on Batshuayi because they've not even given him a squad number. Is he a better forward? Is he a better striker than Armando Broja? I'd say if Everton signed Armando Broja as a centre forward, he'd be starting there, right? Is he better than Callum Hudson-Odoi? Personally, I'd say he's a similar kind of level to Callum Hudson-Odoi. I like Hudson-Odoi. He just doesn't seem to get his chance. He's a very talented player. I actually hope Hudson-Odoi leaves. He needs to go get some football somewhere. Pulisic. I'd say that I know it's a meme to say that the LeBron James of soccer isn't that good, but he is actually a really good player. Like, I don't think he's an upgrade on Pulisic. Or Pulisic, should I say. Obviously not as good as Sterling. Ziyech, again, hasn't really performed at Chelsea, but is he an upgrade? Havertz, Mount. They've just spent, what, was it 30 million on Chukwuemeka? I think Chelsea are going to have a very, very big... It's only like a week, isn't it? It's a week until the transfer window closes. See, if you flip the table, like, if I were Everton, I'd be taking that. It's like 70 plus, like, sorry, 60 million plus future fees. I'd be snatching their hand off. And like, the thing is, right, is I know they're deathly thin at that end of the pitch, though. But I don't think you can afford to reject a like such an overinflated price for a player like that, you know? I just don't think you can afford to do it. Shit's asking for Ziyech under Tuchel. Maybe, and I don't know. Ziyech always looked really good at Ajax. And he was kind of like a winger that drifted inside and created, right? And it's kind of how Chelsea use their tens, isn't it? Like, they sit narrower, they're more creative than anything. If I were Everton, I'd be getting Billy Gilmore as part of the deal. If I were Everton, I'd be going, yeah, you're right, you can have him, but I want, you can have him for 60 million straight up, but I want Brozier or Pulisic on loan back for a year. Some rumblings about De Jong to Liverpool. There is, I would be amazed if he went to Liverpool. Not because I don't think they need him, or B, they're a big enough draw or anything. But the wages he's demanding were to match his contract at Barca. And why would he leave Barca if he's not going to match their contract? If they were to match his contract, he'd be the highest paid player at Liverpool. I think he's on like 450 grand a week. He'd be on more than Salah, right? I really don't see that happening. I think De Jong's more likely to end up at Chelsea. To play in this very threadbare midfield that they've got, you know? I just don't understand. Like, literally, Anthony Gordon goes straight into this melee of, like, attacking options that they've got. I mean, I'd class Chukwuemeka as an attacking midfielder, right? Whenever I've seen him, he's played more as a 10, but he goes straight into this. And they only ever play two number 10s. Unless they keep playing Havertz as a false 9. Loads of people keep going on about Chelsea really need a striker as well. I think that the issues at Chelsea are way deeper than just needing a striker. I don't see them, whenever I watch them, the keep the ball well, move the ball around pretty well, tend to be pretty solid defensively. But the reason that it didn't work with Lukaku is because they're so slow in the transition. They like to play short passes and work the ball at the pitch slowly and work options that way and look for the little overload and the runs in behind. Like, it's why their wing-backs are so dangerous, right? They'll stack in the middle of the pitch and find space out wide for their wing-backs. But that didn't play into the strengths of Lukaku, which is wild, man. I'm like, it still doesn't make sense to me, that deal. Why would you spend, 95 million quid? Why would you spend 95 million quid on a player that your manager, he doesn't fit in the system that your manager uses, which is plainly obvious if you just watch him and them, or B, aren't willing to kind of adapt how you play to his strengths. It's just the wildest thing. Like, he's paid 95 million for him. He's been there a year. They've sent him out on loan. It's insane. He's not getting past 4 of those forward line, especially if they're bringing another striker as well. Like, he's not going to go in there and be their number 9, is he? I think you'd be insane to expect that. Chelsea got previous in signing like just big name strikers, right? Not necessarily thinking, is this the right signing? And just more thinking, can we get this guy? With Torres, happened with Shevchenko, it's happened with Lukaku. Any others that come to mind? Like, I don't know. Abramovich just really liked signing strikers. I know they got Todd Bowley in charge. I have no idea what his plan is, because it just seems to be like he's either getting beaten to every signing, but then like this 60 million Gordon thing is just wild to me. It's wild to me. Overspending for a player that hasn't proven that he's worth anywhere near that in a position they're already stacked in. It's wild. It's fully like, remember that period where Arsenal just signed wingers? There's that period where Arsenal just signed wingers. Like, you need midfielders. Yeah, but we've got 5 wingers joining in the summer, so. Crespo as well. Did Crespo work out at Chelsea? I don't think he did really, did he? He went back on loan to Milan, right? Shevchenko's one of the best strikers I've ever seen. They left Milan. Yeah, it was weird, right? And again, I think it's proof that you need to sign the right player for your team and your system rather than just getting the best player. Or at least be able to kind of recreate the situation that they were playing in. But I guess he was playing ahead of, at that time, he was playing ahead of Pirlo and Kaká, right? And Clarence Seedorf. Like, it's not a bad load of career. And Cafu on the right wing back. Falcao. I don't think I'd roll Falcao into that. He was on like the injury comeback. The thing that was wilder for me with Falcao was he'd just come back from his ACL injury. Spent a year at United, done nothing. And Chelsea looked at him and went, I fancy a bit of that. Crespo had he was there for 5 years. I wonder what'll happen with this Anthony Gordon thing, though, by the way. Like, it just seems like well, like I said, it's a ridiculous fee for a player that hasn't proved that he's anywhere near that value. Everton should sell Gordon for that price. Oh, yeah, I think they should sell it. The only issue they've got is obviously, like, it weakens a position in the squad that they're already weak in. And signings are always... Isn't it like there's a 40% failure rate of transfers? Like, 40% of transfers don't really ever work out. The Premier League fees for Gibbs White. Yeah, like Gibbs White was, 25 plus 15 potentially? It just makes the James Garner fee look insane. One of the best players in the Championship last year. And United are apparently, like, happy to accept fees around 15 mil. It's going to be really interesting next week. A very interesting 7 days. 7 days. Because I don't think United have done either. Obviously, there's the Anthony deal being mooted. But I think there's still another couple of signings going to happen for United. I've no idea who. I saw people flinging Asensio's name around for United before. I don't see that. We can't just buy the Real Madrid 2018 Champions League winning side. I like Garner. But I understand why he'd be saying... I said it yesterday, right? I understand why... If there's another midfielder coming in especially... Which I think there might be. Like, if he's... like, because he's at the age now where he needs to be playing consistent first-team football. I completely understand it if he's going to him and saying, look, if you're not going to play me, like, I need to leave. I need to go and start my career somewhere. I'd rather he go out on loan, though. And he comes back in next year as a starter, maybe. But I get it, though. I'm surprised Garner wasn't loaned back to Forest. I think the original intention was for Garner to be a part of the first team. But I think now that Eriksen seems to be more of an 8, obviously Casemiro's come in. There's the potential for another centre mid to join as well. You've still got Fred and McTominay. Keep Garner to learn from Casemiro. It's all well and good saying that, but like if the guy wants to play 30 games a year this year, then we ain't going to be able to offer him that. McTominay isn't that good though. Garner's a better ball player than McTominay, yeah. McTominay's a handy player to have in a squad, though. If you need someone who can come in and be like energetic and aggressive, and someone who can be an aerial threat against really big sides, you need to factor that in. Because James Garner's not that. He's a very like skinny lad. Loan Garner out to Watford or some club. But if he doesn't want to go out on loan, like if he doesn't want to go out on loan and wants to start his career, then you can't really hold that against him. If it was a part of Man City's team with their schedule, he'd get games. He'd get a few. They've got Calvin Phillips, who's barely playing at the minute. So United have the same schedule. Yeah, at least for the first half of the season, anyway. It's going to be really interesting to see whether United can keep up the performance level. They've set the level now. Like they've shown that they can play that level. Yep, teams can have off days, but you off days are ones that don't happen very often. If you're consistently average and just show up for like important games like the Liverpool games, big games, then you're showing that you just don't really have the drive to do it. You don't have the mentality for it. You can have bad games. Like if your level is what you play against Liverpool most weeks, and then you have the odd game where things don't work out, then that's an off week. But when the outlier is the good performance, that's an issue. I expect United to have more possession against Southampton, so it'll be interesting to see how we play against that. how we deal with being the team that has to deal with counterattacks. Interested to see if we're actually interested in playing football or whether it was just another Derby bump performance. Like I say, they've set the level now, right? They've shown a level that they can play, and they need to show the manager and the fans, I guess, like they're able to, or not able to. They've shown they're able to. They're willing to put that effort in every game. Or else they're just the writing's on the wall and people are right saying that like just a lot of these guys aren't good enough. We'll see. We'll find out on Saturday. Find out on Saturday, 12:30. I think they go with the same. I think they go with the same defense and midfield. Only thing I think changes for Southampton might be actually no, probably not the same midfield actually. Casemiro might come in. It wouldn't surprise me if they went with Eriksen and Fred, and then had Martial up front and Rashford on the wing, rather than like drop Ilanga. But I think that back four stays the same. The back four and the goalie stays the same. I don't think Shaw gets back into the team yet anyway. He's going to have to wait for his chance to get back in the team. Malacia was awesome. There won't be as much spacing behind. Needs to show they can play when they have the ball. Yeah, I agree. Which is why I think you'll have Eriksen in midfield. Fred, when he's playing that kind of box-to-box 8, he does cause chaos in the final third because, you know, he wins the ball high up and he will run channels. And also Martial, like I think having Martial as a centre forward, if he's fit enough to play 90 minutes, or even like 70 minutes from the start, if he starts, gets the ball into fix, he's good at making the ball stick and good at like good close control, that kind of stuff. Should be an interesting game. I for one can't wait to be heartbroken with the performance and lose 2-0 away from home. It's the exact type of game that United have had huge problems with over the last 3 years. So yeah, like last few seasons, we've not met them in the Cups. The last time we lost was 2016. So we've not lost against them in a long time, but we've drawn more than we've beaten them. 7 draws, 6 losses. 7 draws, 6 wins, sorry. 1-1 both times last year. The season previous, though, we did put 9 past them, so. But yeah, 4 draws and 2 wins in the last 3 seasons. Didn't we get robbed against Southampton last year when Bruno got fouled in the build to their goal? Yeah, but we still only scored 1 goal. I'll do a little bit more opportunistic pressing. I'll just play on the counter, though. See, the way that they caused us issues last year was by being hyper-aggressive in the press. I wonder whether they're going to try and do the same thing. Try and put the pressure on the back forward, put De Gea under pressure, try and cause issues. I think they will do, yes. Exactly what Brighton and Brentford did. Yeah, I just don't think that their players are as good. We just need to make sure that we've got, like, passing options for De Gea. Just need to make sure that there's someone that can take the ball off De Gea. And try and make sure that De Gea doesn't pass into triple press. Well, yeah, that's the thing, right? If they go hyper-aggressive press, just have De Gea do what he did against Liverpool. Just chip it into that left flank. But they've got a right back who can defend, though, so.